Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Objectively Bad podcast. My name is Dan. His name is Chad. We don't know what we're talking about today, so let's get into it.
Don't. Yeah. Do we just stare at each other for like an hour and a half?
We have made this joke too many times, and I feel like it's time to finally do it. Let's lock in.
We're just both sitting on our phones.
I mean, that sounds like a great episode. It's a podcast, but it's just two guys sitting on their phones looking at TikTok, and you can kind of hear it in the background, but not enough to know what's actually going on.
Yeah. And then right as they look like they're about the very end, you go, all right, do you want to start recording? And then you say yes, and we kind of start chatting. And then right as we start, it just ends.
Yep. The typical, like, you're recording by accident and then you stop recording when you're mean to. Classic.
Yeah. That is a classic.
It is, really. No.
I think an April Fool's prank.
I think, we didn't have an episode air on April Fool's, did we? No, we recorded on April Fool's.
I don't think we have. We recorded on, well, this is the other fun thing. When we record, it's 2 separate days for us. We recorded on your April Fool's.
True, that is a good point. I think if we're still doing this podcast in 2 years, an episode will air on April Fool's. So
there we go. If we don't change when they come out.
Yes. So subscribe, stick around if you want that in 2 years from now. A podcast where we're on our phones the whole time. No, but I actually, when I went to go put eye drops in, because I'm a dry eye boy, I did actually think of a quick topic to discuss. And it's been going around on social media recently, and I want to get your input. Because I see you as a strong man.
Appreciate that.
You know, you got an animal on your shirt, and it says "Hell won't take me."
Yeah.
Which means you're not gonna go down easily. You're not gonna cower down and die. So, Chad, do you think that 100 men could beat a gorilla?
Yeah. 100? Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we concur, because the internet is having a battle with this topic, and I'm shocked that there's a lot of people who don't think they can. Now, I've seen 2 different variants of this question. One is 100 men versus a gorilla, and in that case, you can think of whatever men you want. And then the other variant is 100 average men versus a gorilla, which makes you think like your average office worker, maybe doesn't go to the gym, you know.
Sure.
Whatever.
An average guy.
An average Joe. Either way, I think the men will win. I don't think it's a fucking debate. Like, even without weapons, even
the numbers are there.
I think people are vastly underestimating how many people 100 is. It is a lot of fucking people.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, almost 100 is almost too much, because there's definitely going to be people in the back who have done absolutely nothing, but they're just like there as backup. But like 10 men against a gorilla, yeah, they're going to win. You get a really strong dude against a gorilla, and I think he could win.
Okay, now you're going a bit far, in my opinion, but...
maybe more like someone who's like... Maybe like a guy who's prepped himself or something like that.
I mean like hand to hand, no weapons at all.
It'd be pretty hard.
I think you'd need
maybe 2 really strong guys.
Fucking hell. I think you'd need like... I don't know what the limit is for me. I think you'd need at least a minimum like 10 to 20 at absolute, like, really strong dudes. So. I think you'd...
What kind of gorilla are we talking about?
Like a silverback.
Oh, we're talking about like the worst one to fight?
Like a big boy.
I looked up silverback, and it just says silverback gorilla versus 100 men.
Yes, it is very hot right now.
Okay, they're pretty heavy.
Yes.
They stand at about 5 feet tall, but they're 430 pounds.
Yes.
Oh god, they can lift over 1,700 pounds of dead weight. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I think 1 man may be too little. I'm honestly thinking, if you're talking the average man, I think maybe 50 get it done. But it has to be in a situation where it's life or death. Like, if you just throw in 50 men against a gorilla, all of them are going to run. Like, in a real scenario, you're all going to run away.
Sure.
But if you lock them in a cage match and it's like, you're going to beat this gorilla to walk out alive, I think the men do come out on top. Whether there's only 1 left, I don't know. I think they win. Because, fuck the strength. The strength is obviously a big issue. The gorilla's going to one-tap some people, knock their heads off, blah, blah, blah. The big advantage, the 2 big advantages that humans have over every other animal is one, intelligence. We can strategize and communicate as a group to like take it down. And two is stamina. Gorillas, from what my knowledge of them and most other animals, they like, burn out pretty quickly. Whereas humans are built for endurance. Even a typical office worker who doesn't run can probably run more and like stay not energized. Fucking
sure.
You know what the fuck I'm trying to say.
They'll still have energy. They'll still
we'll still have energy for a longer period of time. They'll be able to keep going for longer. The gorilla, after the first 70 guys, will probably gas out, and then you can just wail on them.
Yeah. Also, like, you could have 10 people wailing on him at a time. Yeah, he's gonna knock someone out, but like, there's 3 people behind him. Like, oh, I just punched a book. I'm sorry, book.
Yeah, like one guy's behind him kicking the nuts, the other guy's poking his eye out. Like, if the guys are really out to fucking kill the gorilla, they'll kill the gorilla.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay, one person probably couldn't, but I like the idea of someone like kind of like Kraven the Hunter style, where they're like fucking crazy, and also their whole thing is like, I will hunt beast, and I will kill. Although he uses like weapons and shit.
Yeah, I mean, like there are some people who've wrestled alligators or like fought a bear off, not killed the bear, but like there are some people that like, do go toe to toe with big animals and walk out unscathed or alive. So it's
put two of them.
It's not impossible that one man could be a gorilla. It's just ridiculously unlikely.
It's also, how good of a fighter is a gorilla? Because obviously the gorilla's going to be good, but you do make the good point of like intelligence. You can have someone bobbing and weaving. I also don't know if the gorilla's coming up like with a good fighting stance, or if he's just starting to wail.
I think he's just charging at you and wailing you. Yeah.
He's charging at you and using raw strength against you. But if you're smart enough and a good enough fighter.
Well, again, if we go back to average man, the average man probably isn't going to have the...
Yes. Well, I'm saying, like, I think someone could prepare.
You think there's one man out there who could 1v1 a gorilla?
And I think it's me. It's not me. Maybe like a baby gorilla.
I mean...
But that's cheating.
Yeah, that's mean.
It's not the same. Yeah, it is kind of mean. Beating up kids.
Yeah, well, there's also that age-old question of how many 7-year-olds could you beat if they come in waves?
Yeah.
I think, like, similar to the gorilla thing, I think 100, like, you ain't getting past 100 7-year-olds. I think they'd take you down.
You're running out of stamina at some point. But again, I can use intelligence over 7-year-olds. They don't. They don't know what's up. I'm just going to keep kicking them in the head.
Okay. Well, going to that question, let's say there's five kids. At what age do you think you struggle to beat 5 of them at once?
Trying to think of how big they get at different ages.
Like, I was pretty tall, 12.
Yeah, but you're not the average child.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're an outlier. I wasn't going to say that.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know, maybe like 10. Maybe 8. I'm not sure.
Really? I was gonna say I was gonna say 12.
5 at once easily?
I think. Well, I was gonna say before puberty, but I guess they start at different ages. I'll say like 12 or 11. I reckon
that's the thing is like there are some kids that might hit.
Yeah.
Puberty at like
10. Personally, I just think I got a mighty kick on me. I'd just fucking wail at him.
Reach.
Yeah, I mean.
But 10 of them.
5.
Oh, 5. Okay, still 5 of them is still a decent amount. And also, you gotta think, those motherfuckers have energy for days.
Yeah, but I also feel like they'd get hurt a little easier.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like kids get up. At that age, actually, I feel like that's the age when you're like, you fall off something and you're like, oh my god, are you okay? And they're like, let's do it again.
Nah, Loki, I was a bitch at that age. I got better as I got older.
You don't count.
Yeah. Nah, I was fully like, when I was younger, like, I used to like, cry or like get really upset at like any like small pain like grazing my knee, and now like I just like I don't not feel pain. That's crazy to say. That's cringe, but like now nothing phases me weirdly. I don't know how that happened exactly.
Depression.
That's the one. You've cracked the code there, buddy boy. Thank you for that.
Can't feel pain if you feel nothing at all.
Oh, so true.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of like the worst 5 kids or not the worst, but like more athletic kids who they got the spirit in them. You might get a couple kids who are like, I don't really want to fight you. But again, it's a hypothetical scenario, so
I just can't imagine that the punch or kick of a 12-year-old is that powerful.
Yeah, that's also true.
I mean, if they aim for the balls, that's going to be a rough one. Obviously.
And they're at ball height.
True.
Because they're shorter.
It is like a straight punch for them.
Short, actually.
It's an uppercut for them.
Yeah. It's an uppercut. It's the Johnny Cage, like, splits into the uppercut.
Oh.
That hurt.
Big pain.
Big pain. Yeah, that's, I'm glad you asked that question. We've all learned a lot here.
Yeah, very insightful from the boys.
Very insightful stuff.
I mean, by the time this podcast's out, the meme is probably dead. Everything on social media moves a million miles a minute nowadays. True. But I just thought, a fun discussion, because I think with a lot of these online discussions, I feel like with a lot of these like weird hypotheticals, I'm always like very much on one side, and I always get baffled by like how the fuck people can see it any other way. Like with the whole dress thing, like I don't know how people see gold and white.
Oh, thank you. If you said black and blue, I was gonna be so pissed off.
No, like the dress is black and blue, so I know it's correct.
Black and blue, and it is proven.
I have never seen the white and gold. I wish I could see it so I could like visualize what other people think, but I can't. Like I've never seen it. Like with the
can't see it because it's not.
Yeah. Do you remember the Yanni Laurel thing, the audio one?
That one was cool, and I do understand that one.
Yeah. So like with that one, I like when I hear the Yanni Laurel sound, I can switch in my head which one I want to hear by like
I can do that too,
visualizing the word. But with the dress, no matter how bright to put my phone, no matter what time of day is, what angle I look at, can never see the other fucking thing. And I'm like, you people that are seeing white and gold are either crazy gaslighters or you're stupid. They're the only two options.
Why not both?
Stupid
They're
gaslighters.
Gaslighting themselves. Yeah.
Oh, that's so real. Loki.
The cool thing with the Yanni Laurel was I'm pretty sure they're basically just at different like frequencies at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the low register, you hear one. You listen to the high register, you hear the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you just like say in your head like the word you want to hear, and you'll hear that pretty much. I mean, there's a bunch of auditory tricks like that are really cool.
Mm.
There's another one.
You can do that with like music.
Yeah, there's another one that's like you can hear up to like 15 different things from like this one word. I can't remember what it is, but like that was a really cool one.
Yeah.
But honestly, I love the idea of people like gaslighting themselves, because I think it happens more than you think it does.
Yeah. I mean, you think sometimes people just want to be different, and so they're like, I'm just gonna go with this other opinion, even if they like don't agree with it. Or one person says it and they're like, well, I'm just going to agree.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people in this world that will actively choose to, like, it's like the whole situation of like, there's a person you hate, but they have an opinion you love. There's a lot of people that will like actively choose to like be against them and like go against their own opinion just because they hate this one dude.
Yeah. So,
which is stupid.
I think it definitely happens. I mean, I sometimes do that in person if I don't feel like arguing with someone. But on the internet, like, you got free reign. Just put your opinion out there if you want. I mean, if you have a shit opinion, maybe don't do that. But,
No, if your opinion's objectively bad, don't say it. That's how it works.
Oh, fuck. So do we end this now?
No,
based on that?
Our name's ironic. It's fine.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good. I've been realizing I'm looking at the camera and I have like a little cough drop in because I've been talking all day. And I'm like, it kind of just looks like I've got a zin in my mouth that I'm just moving around. I don't. I want to put that out there. I'll even, I don't know. See if I can get it. There we go. I got a cough drop.
Well, for the audio viewers, I'm sure that was audio viewers. Audio listeners would be the right term.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was great fun. I was hoping we'd get to another topic from that first one because, like I said, we don't know what we're talking about today.
No. I mean,
I was scrolling on Twitter and there's something we can briefly talk about that we did talk about last episode. So if you were there, welcome back.
So
Oblivion came out, the remaster on PC.
Okay, what are you
gonna say? And last episode, we recorded it before the game actually dropped. So we had a lot of speculation about what things were going to be in there. You know, is it going to be Oblivion? I don't know where I'm going with this.
Do you want me to take over?
Go for it. Yeah, fuck it.
There were a lot of questions that we had, which is what you just said. Was it going to be a remaster? Was it going to be a remake? I think at the time we didn't know if they were just going to announce that they were doing it, if they were going to release it, if they, you know, what they were going to do with it at all.
Yep.
Because we recorded the day before they announced it.
Yes.
They announced it, released it immediately, $50, which I think we kind of speculated to be like $50 or $60.
And honestly, I think it was pretty well priced for like playing. I've only played like 2 hours of it or so, but from what I've seen of other people and what I've experienced myself, it's definitely like that. It's definitely worth it. Like it is the same game, but it's completely redone. Like it's redone in a honorable way. Well, that's not the word I'm trying to think of. It's like everything's the same. Like the Oblivion charm is still there. You still have the funny interactions with NPCs. Like there's a very famous piece of dialogue where the person doing the line retakes the line, and they kept in the whole like thing of her going, oh shit, let me do this again. And they kept that in, which is awesome.
That's great.
The like mostly janky combat is still there. The funny like character creation presets and stuff are still there. So it's still very much Oblivion, but graphics are overhauled to a crazy degree. The UI is different. I think it's more sleek and clean than the original Oblivion. There's some things I think were probably better than the original, but like for the most part, it's a lot better. There's a few new mechanics. Like I know in one of the skill trees you can dodge now, which is kind of cool. That's one thing. All the DLCs were included as well, which obviously makes the price like very much worth it.
Especially because the Oblivion DLCs are really good.
Exactly. And I'm sure there's other things. Maybe there's obviously bug fixes there would be. I don't know if there's any new content at all. I haven't looked that far into it. There might be like an expansion on like something here or there. But like overall, it is very much a remake. Like they call it remaster, but it's a remake. They've done it from the ground up with all the charms still there. And I think that's really good. Like I think over the past few years, Bethesda fans and people in the gaming industry that watch Bethesda make Starfield, make Fallout, have been very concerned because, you know, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be that next big new game. We're all like, they're going to shit the bed and ruin this. What I hope is that they take all the positive feedback that the community has given them about this Oblivion remake, which is that we love this garbage game with all its jank and all its flaws and all its stupid characters and weird glitches. We love this. If they take that and just do that for the next game, with obviously updated graphics, bigger map, more interesting quest lines, all that, I think will be good.
Yeah,
that's my takeaway.
I feel like we were both a little skeptical last time because we were like, oh my god, you're gonna fucking reskin this and sell it for $60. I kind of agree. I think it sounds like they've done enough where like they've gotten rid of the bad jank, or like at least tried to, because like Oblivion was glitchy as all hell.
Yeah. It's pretty much unplayable without mods on PC nowadays.
Yeah.
Like it's so broken.
So it's nice that they've done that. It's cool that they've ported it over to like, if you're not on PC, they ported it to like PlayStation, and I don't think the Switch, but like PlayStation and Xbox, which is pretty nice. I think it's great for a lot of new people to the game to play it, because it can be hard playing on some of those old UIs. Like I know I've played original Oblivion. I've played a lot of Skyrim, and I like the style of game a lot, so I can get into it. But like, it can be difficult to get into where you're like, oh, I have no idea where I'm going, and I don't fully understand this UI, and the game mechanics are kind of weird, and they don't necessarily tell you how to do it. Because games nowadays will like just fucking tell you how to do everything. Not fully, but like you normally get a nice tutorial
for sure,
and it's a lot more accessible. I think that was the big thing that Skyrim has over like Oblivion and Morrowind. Is it's just a lot more accessible for more people to play.
Yeah, like even with the remake, the remaster, whatever we want to call it, I'm like kind of struggling to get into it. I do have free time, but like I know with a game like this, if I put my time into it, I'll forget to work, I'll forget to fucking eat. Yeah. So like I'm trying to like slowly play through it a few hours each day, and even I'm kind of struggling to like figure out everything. The map is a very different map to Skyrim. It's like all paper rather than like the graphical, like top-down satellite view type map. The UI is very different. The skill trees are very different. Instead of having like this big tree where you select things, it's sort of just you get to this level, you get a thing. You get to this level, you get a thing. The whole fact that it's a class-based system, so like instead of just being able to put any skill into wherever you want, you have to be like an assassin, a warrior, a fighter, a mage, and like those skills get boosts. And if you don't follow those, you're probably going to be weaker because Oblivion has like leveling scaling that is quite difficult. That if you level up your like overall stats, but not your combat stats in the preferred style, you're probably going to struggle later on. So there's a little bit more to it, and there's less handholds throughout it. So you can sort of run yourself into a corner. I know a lot of people in the old game ended up finding that out, that if they leveled up their character without leveling up the associated like combat stats that they were supposed to, you basically can almost soft lock yourself with how difficult it gets. I think they toned it down for this game, but I think for a lot of people that are unfamiliar with this genre or haven't played Elder Scrolls before, it probably is going to get quite difficult. Because, you know, if you are supposed to be a mage and then you level up all your skills into pickpocketing and you get to like level 15 with no combat stats up, you're going to be fucked when you find Oblivion Gate. Fucked. Like, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But
the Oblivion Gates are hard to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that first Oblivion Gate, I'm fucking saving like every single corner I'm going around because I'm fucking struggling. I also went to the Oblivion Gate, I think, like really early because I was just following the main quest line.
You're right. Whereas like these games, you do want to just do all this stuff, and that's what I'm trying to do as well. I'm trying to just like not follow the quest line. I think I'll follow up to where I get back to like the Imperial City. But like apart from that, I'm just going around. But even like I went into a random cave to fight like a necromancer, and I'm like doing a stealth archer build because of course I fucking am.
Because of course.
And I was like, I thought I'd leveled up. I have like decent gear. I was killing other enemies relatively easily. And then there's one necromancer boss who like was in like a tiny cave. She was so strong I had to run outside and get a guard to kill her for me because I was nearly dying, and the guard literally one-shot her, which was kind of sick, honestly.
Damn. That was kind of sweet.
But yeah, like I'm having a great time in it. I think if they keep this sort of mindset for the next Elder Scrolls game, will be saved. I don't know. Game developers always want to do too much sometimes rather than just doing what the community wants. It's the same with like Call of Duty each year. They try and add too much rather than just like keep the core fundamental gameplay that everyone loves. Hopefully this game, with the success of it, because it has been very successful, Oblivion, like the amount of copies sold, the amount of concurrent players, the reviews have all been very positive. Yeah. I really hope Bethesda takes a good look at this and goes like, okay, this is what the community likes. We just need to do this again on a like different engine or whatever. They're probably going to use Unreal Engine 5 again for the next game, I'm assuming.
Probably.
Just write cool quests, have the game be kind of funny and weird and janky and glitchy.
Yeah.
Big open world, do whatever the fuck you want.
Glitchy.
Good janky, exactly.
Not like, because that's the problem is Bethesda's always been kind of like glitchy, but in some games it's been fun. I mean, I do think there has always been the problem where like there's some like game-breaking games where or like game-breaking like glitches where you have to find like a new save and like you gotta go back.
Those suck for sure.
But when it's surrounded by really good storylines, because that's what like Oblivion has fantastic storylines. It has fucking hilarious dialogue. It has, and a lot of the glitches are like stupid. There'll be a guy like dying while he's giving you his dialogue because like you like someone killed him, but then he was forced into this quest dialogue, or like you'll be going in one direction and a guard flips you around like a 180, like it's like immediate, and you're like, and he starts yelling at you. It's so fucking funny. Yeah, and I don't know if this is a glitch or gameplay mechanic, but like there's a very iconic clip about it, and I did it myself when I was playing. But like a bandit can, or like a highwayman can come up to you, ask you for your gold, you give him your gold, you pickpocket it back. He sees you and he's like, I don't need it anyways. It's like, well, you just like I don't know, maybe you do need it because you just asked for the gold. And like little things like that, or like in Skyrim being able to drive your horse up a mountain, because it is practically driving at that point, bro, and walking, he's zooming up that thing. Like those sorts of things make, I think, Bethesda games what they are. Like I love glitches, even in like games like Call of Duty, like on old Modern Warfare 2, COD 4, all like the fun glitch spots you could get into
and like buildings you're not supposed to and hide in a window somewhere. I think those like breaking the game to a degree is what makes gaming really fun. And when you make a game too rigid and not like explorable, it becomes kind of dead. Like with Starfield, I didn't get past like the first 5 hours, but I think what made Starfield really unfun to me is the fact that it is open world, but you have to go from like planet to planet. It's not like you can just walk everywhere. Like the whole selling point of Skyrim and Oblivion is pretty much like whatever you see, you can go there.
Yeah.
And that's really fun.
I also just heard Starfield was like so vast but so empty at the same time.
Yeah, that's another issue.
In Morrowind, there's two things I like. There's one where there's this guy that you can like stumble upon, and he's like, I have this scroll. It was either a scroll or a potion. I can't remember. I think it was a scroll of flying. And what it does instead is it just lets you jump incredibly high. Like I'm talking like it like thousands of feet into the air. Like so high. And like he does it, he jumps up really high, you wait a minute, and he comes back down and dies, and you can take his scroll, use it, and do the exact same thing. And it's so fucking funny. There's another thing that my coworker was telling me. He was like, yeah, if you're like on, I think it's if you have skooma on you, or if you're like on skooma, and you talk to like shopkeepers, they'll be like, I'm not serving you.
Oh wow.
Like they'll just know that you have skooma in your inventory. They're like, no, I'm not talking to you.
That's great.
Skooma is like the inverse like drug. I'm trying to think of like heroin.
Lean.
Yeah. Drug, but like a look down upon drug. Not
it's a liquid drug. Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
Or do they inject it? I feel like they just drink it. I don't know.
I
think it's drank.
But yeah, I hope to see, like, I'm curious what Elder Scrolls 6 will give us.
Whenever it comes out.
Whenever it comes out. You said it, I think you said something about it being on Unreal Engine 5. God, I hope so. What if it's on Unreal Engine 6 because it takes that long?
Oh, it could be.
That's not impossible. Yeah. I've said this, but in a different light. I'm curious to see if game companies choose to remaster or remake their old games that are like in a good way. And I'd be kind of okay with it. I know we had a commenter say that they'd love to see Red Dead 1 be remastered because Red Dead 2 and Red Dead 1 kind of feel different, and that like Red Dead 2 is like a lot more polished. Yeah. And you go back to Red Dead 1, it's a lot different. I'd be curious to see if game companies do it. Honest to God, if they do a good job, like it seems like they spent time on this Oblivion remake. Yeah. If they do a good job, I'm okay with it because some of those old games are so good and they have such good charm, but they can be, sometimes they're really buggy or they're difficult to play or they're just not similar to how games are. And because of it, it can be kind of difficult. Yeah. I went to a local arcade and I played like original Mario, and it was kind of difficult to play because I'm trying to sit here and jump up like, it's like I'm here, there's a space above, there's a platform on either side. I was trying to jump on the platform, and you can't, if you want to jump to the side, you have to be actively moving. You can't just jump and then move to the side. And that fucked me up so much. Because in most platform games, you could probably do that.
Yep.
Or it's a little more seamless. So stuff like that, I'd be curious if like game companies start doing this after they see the success of Oblivion. I don't know if they necessarily will, but like there's certain games that I think could be really cool, especially like 2000 era games would be really good because they're not so old that they're like completely different.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last podcast. I think like Saints Row 1 and 2 being remastered.
Yeah.
Some of the earlier Just Causes or Uncharted's or like LA Saint Noir, Prototype, Infamous 1 and 2. There's a bunch of games that could easily be remastered.
Some old Halo games could be really cool.
Yep.
I mean, imagine if they remastered like Halo 3 and put it out on all platforms. I think that'd sell well.
Yep, for sure.
I don't know. But I don't know. I would I'd be curious. Dan, do you like movies?
Occasionally.
Okay. I do too. And I've had a habit of over the summer, I will pay for the AMC's like movie theater subscription.
Whoa.
Where you pay like $22 a month and you could just see like 3 movies a week. Which is like, if you go to 2 movies a month, you make your money back.
Yeah, that's honestly
like,
not bad at all.
It's a really solid price. I do it for the summer because usually enough movies come out in the summer.
Yep.
That I'd want to see. And I was like, sweet. I think I'm going to start this up again. I wanted to go see Sinners yesterday because I've heard really good things about it. Our friend actually just texted us and was like, hey, this movie is really good.
Yeah, I want to see it as well.
It's on my list. It's got 2 Michael B. Jordans, which, you know, I didn't think it got better than that.
And Haley.
And Haley's your girl.
Well, no, not my girl. Shamik Moore's girl.
R.I.P. Shamik Moore.
If anyone knows,
he's not dead, but he's not getting her.
Nah,
he's not getting.
Oh, the interview clips with him and her are so awkward, man. They're so cringe
funny.
As hell.
No, she just picked a really good fucking quarterback instead.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like American celebrities who get married to like NFL players. I notice it's quite common.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
her, Taylor. There's probably someone else.
It's probably someone else. Yeah, there's just 2 examples.
I don't keep up with the times, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But anyways, I want to go see this Sinners movie. So I'm like, well, I might as well purchase the monthly thing, especially because they've noted that they are upping their price in like a week.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like a couple dollars a month. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get this. AMC wouldn't let me.
Awesome.
You motherfuckers. I kept like, their website was probably down or something like that. But essentially I kept putting my information in and it would just be like, sorry, there was an error. And I'm like, I know my information's right because it's like my address and my name and all that. And also it was pre-saved into the website because I already have it all in there because I've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wouldn't work. So I just didn't go see the movie.
Oh, you couldn't just go in person and like buy a ticket?
It's that I didn't want to purchase the ticket. I want to purchase the like subscription.
Can you not buy the subscription like in the cinema? Surely you'd be able to buy it in person. You just didn't have enough fucking care. You didn't care enough,
I didn't have enough gumption. I didn't pull myself up by the bootstraps enough.
You didn't have the gusto for it.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know actually if you could.
Loki, the reason why I don't go to cinemas right now is because there are 2 cinemas that I've been to before in Melbourne. One's like in the city, like in like the central like station. And one is at Chadstone, which is like the biggest shopping mall in Australia. Both are good, but Chadstone. Yeah, that's you, baby.
I own it? Oh
yeah.
Shit, dude. Where are these royalties coming from?
Well, I sent to you a few years ago. There's a bus board near where I used to live where it has Chadstone and Dandenong, which is another place. And it just says Chad Dan.
Oh god, that's perfect. I love it so much. We've already made our mark on Australia.
Yeah, we have. But no, both those cinemas are really great, but they're both too far away from me. Since I don't drive, it's like I either have to get an Uber to go there, which is even more money, or like a long train journey. So I end up not going to the movies that much. Then I found out that there is a movie cinema in the Crown Cinema, which is like, or the Crown, which is like a big like...
Yeah.
What do I even call the Crown? It's like, you can gamble there, there's restaurants there, there's a hotel. Nice. It's kind of like the Vegas...
Like a resort, kind of?
It's like the Vegas of Melbourne, but just in one building, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I haven't actually ever been inside because it scares me. Now, there's a cinema in there, and I don't know exactly how to get to the cinema. I don't know if I have to go through like I'm sure I can figure it out, but like it low-key scares me. I hate like going somewhere and not knowing how to get into the place because I don't want to embarrass myself. I remember the first time I went to my dentist that I go to now. I went into like this like big building with like revolver doors, went in there and there was like elevators. It looked like a big corporate building. And I went up to the front desk and I'm like, is there a dentist in here? And he's like, no, it's outside down a few like doors. I'm like, oh, okay. I wanted to die. I hate looking like an idiot in front of other people. It's like, I just don't go to the cinema.
You probably weren't the first one.
I'm sure. But like, so I just need to figure out how the fuck to get into the cinema because it's pretty close to me. I know I'm doxing myself, but like, I'm in a city, man.
You should do that.
I'm in a city. Like, there's a lot of buildings.
A lot of things are close.
It's close enough that I can walk to it without needing public transport to like go like fucking half an hour away.
So if you were to walk there.
Yeah, so I'd take 150 steps down this street, then I turn right.
Yeah, so is it like what cardinal direction from you is it? And how many blocks away?
Yeah, so actually my postcode is this, and this.
Dan, what's your social security number?
I don't have one.
You don't have one.
It's not a thing in Australia. What is the point of a social security number exactly? And what's yours? Hey, say a number.
1, 2,
say one number from it.
No.
Say one number.
4.
Hey, dox him. Get him. How many numbers are in a social security number actually?
9.
Okay.
I want to say it's like the format would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Gotcha.
So it's a 3, a 2, and a 4.
And what? Because it's kind of a foreign concept to me. Like, what is the difference between having that and just having like a passport or a driver's license or like?
It's kind of like an identifying number because only one person has that number.
Yep.
It's also, I don't know. Social Security is a thing that who knows if I'll ever see, but it's supposed to be that you pay into Social Security for your entire life, and then when you retire, you get it back with like interest.
Right. So it's kind of like a 401k type thing.
Kind of, but it's through the government.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it's a way for the government to get more money, and then they're basically like, oh, we'll give it back to you later. The problem is, I don't know if that'll happen when I'm old, but I'm not relying on that. But it helps you so that when you're retired, you're getting some money like every month so that you don't have to work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess like
it's an identifying number.
In Australia, we have MyGov, and you have like a My Government account to like lodge shit, but you don't pay money into it monthly or anything like that.
Yeah. It's also your Social Security. You don't pay into it necessarily. It just comes out of your paycheck.
Right. Yeah. No.
You're technically paying into.
Yeah. No, I always find
you aren't actively paying into.
Of course, no. I find it like quite interesting how different, how much difference there is between like countries and their structures of how like government shit works.
Yeah.
Like just the whole idea of like the massive differences in tax between countries, what you pay tax on, like. The fact that in the UK you have to pay for a license to own a TV, like
you do?
Yeah, there's a TV license in the UK.
What the fuck? Just to own something that like everyone owns?
Yeah, like own a television that can like connect like
looking this up.
Equivalent of cable of it. I don't know if it's like a monthly subscription or a one-time thing, but yeah, there's a TV license in the UK, which is really weird.
That's fucking crazy.
You want to read out the description for all the people in chat?
All right, I got this. So I clicked on tvlicensing.co.uk. You ready for this, Dan?
I am strapped in.
Awesome. Due to planned maintenance, our website is temporarily unavailable. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Awesome, dude. Let's go.
I'm not even joking. That's what pulled up. Same thing. Okay.
So that all the
yes, you need a TV license to watch any TV channels live, broadcast, or online, even if these are from outside the UK. It almost sounds like you need a license for specifically cable TV, not owning a TV.
No, I think you're allowed to own one if it's like hooked up to an Xbox or something, or you just watch YouTube. I think it's fine, but like, yeah, I also think it's one of those things that like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's one of those situations where like you can kind of get away with not paying it. Like,
I wonder if cable is cheaper and or free then, or if you just need to get like a satellite or something like that.
God knows,
because then that kind of makes sense, because then it's like, okay, well, you're paying into cable, but it's all like paid for, because like
I don't think it's free.
Having subscriptions It's probably not free. That's fucked.
Yeah.
Man, that's all right. Let's see. Okay, we're on Reddit now. We're gonna explain like I'm 5 from an American asking about this. Short answer: the BBC. Well, okay, I should probably read everything. The UK requiring a TV license to watch TV? From the States, and just heard of the concept for the first time. Curious where this came from and how it's enforced. Short answer: the BBC. When it was founded, it was effectively the British government's broadcasting corporation, and has acted in this manner as a quasi-governmental organization for pretty much its whole existence. It was also the only television network for many years. As such, it was easy enough for the directors of the BBC to get Parliament to pass a law that everyone who wanted to watch TV need to pay a license fee to fund the programs that the BBC provided. So I think it was essentially like it was free, but then you paid for it.
Yep, and now it's just continued. It hasn't changed. Because governments never fucking change anything.
No, why would they do that? They're like, yes, this is basically a tax, and it is currently classed as type of tax. Enforcement is basically up to the BBC. Blah, 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 boring stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
TV license.
Speaking about governments not changing things and being unaware of situations, I saw a funny TikTok the other day about the Australian government.
Okay.
So, I don't know where this was on, whether it was a news show or a TikTok interview or someone, but they asked both the head of the Labour and the Liberal Party in Australia, and for those of you that want to know, the Liberal Party is conservative and the Labour Party is democratic. Doesn't make any sense. Don't worry about it.
No. The Liberal is conservative and the Labour is liberal.
Yes.
Stupid.
Just,
anyways.
Yeah. So they asked both the heads of the parties how much it costs for it was like a dozen eggs or like a 10-pack of eggs. I think it was a dozen eggs, which is like a funny question to ask people who are like out of touch with reality. So Peter Dutton, who is the head of the, I don't want to get it wrong. He's head of one party's.
He's a guy. He's a politician.
He's the head of the Liberal Party, which is the Conservative Party.
Which is the not Liberal Party.
Yeah. He answered for a 12 dozen pack of eggs. He reckoned it was $4.20 Australian dollars. Australian
Duttons.
Yeah, and then Albanese, who's the head of the Labour Party, said, I think he said $8 or so.
Okay.
How much do you think it is, Chad? Obviously, it's Australian dollars, so a bit different from what you're used to.
For a dozen eggs?
A dozen eggs.
Fuck, the problem is eggs have been so expensive and have been like spiking so much recently that it's like worse. I think, oh God. Like 12 Australian dollars, maybe?
Okay, not that much. So
they've been really expensive lately in the States.
They have. No, I have seen them like get to that high nearly, but the TikTok that I saw priced them at $8.80, which is really funny that the leader of the Liberal Party said $4.20, literally less than half of what he thought. And like in the supermarket I go to, I think they're usually more like 10 because I go to like a Metro one that typically has higher prices, just for convenience. But yeah, no, like they're expensive and like the leaders of these parties don't know what the fuck anything costs.
One of the guys was pretty close.
Yeah, but well, to be fair, the interviewer kind of fucked up because after the first guy said $4.20, they're like, oh, you could probably get half of that for that amount of money. Then the other guy went.
Okay, so they kind of gave him the answer.
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of sad, honestly. I mean, cost of living's still going up. When the people up top don't know what the fuck's happening, it's a bit rough.
It's a bit rough, but I think it's also just typically accurate. I feel like I can't remember if it was like an SNL sketch or something, or if it was an actual thing where they got like rich people on like The Price is Right, and they had to guess the price of like an average thing, and they would be so incredibly off. They're like, one bundle of bananas, and they're like $8, and it's like, no, it's like 2.
Yeah. Well, they probably go to like the bougie supermarkets and get like the cream of the crop banana.
They don't go.
Well,
someone else
their
does
servants
it for
go
them.
for them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking about the whole government thing because the concert I just went to, which is this Neck Deep, great band from the UK. They did a little speech like with one of their songs called We Need More Bricks, where like they did like the typical speech of like, you know, I don't care who you are, where you come from, who you fuck, blah blah blah.
Sure.
We like all of you. The real people we need to, you know, be against the ones up top, the government. And obviously they're like a punk band, so like that type of speech is very expected. I mean, like
it's on brand.
It's typical with the genre. But I do really appreciate when like bands do that, because like there is a ridiculous amount of division. So like even if like for a brief moment everyone in that room can like be like, okay, at least everyone in here appreciates and likes each other, we're good. Because like the amount of shit I see on social media with like the government's just like not understanding of the average life of people is crazy. I saw another TikTok, not necessarily a government thing directly, but it does relate to it. Is a guy was in Australia showing people how to spot like when a house is not have people in it, like how to house squat, how to like get squatters rights for houses and shit. And he was like, look at like the electric box and see if all the meters are turned off. Go look at the gas and see if it's turned off. And check like, you know, listings for real estate. And he found a house that like seemed like a fine house. Obviously the weeds were overgrown and everything, but like it seemed completely fine. And it hadn't been occupied since 2015. Just a perfectly fine house sitting there by itself. Whereas house prices in Australia are the highest they've ever been. Some of the highest in the world, I think only behind Hong Kong. The average like the average income person in Sydney has to spend 33 years saving up to be able to afford a home nowadays.
You're and just then, retired at that point.
Exactly.
Not quite, but like.
And then like there are just houses sitting free, just, you know, there. And the government does absolutely fuck all to, you know, clean them out, promote them, or build new houses. It's a fucking travesty.
Yeah. Or force people to like lower prices so that they can actually sell it.
Yep.
Which is crazy to me. I think there's a lot of companies that essentially just get tax breaks from owning property that, like, even if it's not occupied, and they'll just leave things vacant because they can, and it's somehow beneficial to them, even though it's like, you could let like a small business owner in there if it's like a business, you know, like a business like vacancy, or you could let like someone live there. And it's like, you're still making money if someone is living there.
Yeah, I guess they're worried about like if someone's there, it may depreciate more because the person could damage it or whatever. I don't even know what the mindset is.
Or it's just more work because I don't know. I wonder if it's a weird tax break thing where you go, I think it's like big corporations where they go, oh, wait, here's the thing that's not making money. Well, it's property. Oh, it maybe counts for some weird legal tax loophole. And they get like a tax break and they end up saving money. Whereas it's like, or you could just like charge someone rent and like someone could do something like good with their lives, whether that's living there or like owning a business, and you still make money off of them. It's not like you're like giving something away to charity. Like you're still charging them rent. I always like to say I have more in common with an incredibly conservative, like Republican farmer than I do with a billionaire.
Oh, for sure.
Because we might have completely different political ideas, and that is 100% okay. But we are both, like, class-wise, we're incredibly close.
Yeah,
like,
no, I
the
think
difference between, let's say, 100K, 50K, 20K, like that kind of amount of money, and $1 billion a year, monumental.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation before. Like, political agendas aside, in regards to things like race, gender, abortion, blah, blah, blah. I think one of the big things that like people need to come together more on is like income levels. Because like you said, a super far left liberal and a super far right Republican that both make $25K a year probably both want the same things when it comes to economics about themselves and the countries. And they do a lot better fighting together for that change rather than fighting against each other for issues that aren't going to help them live a better life. Because like, I'm definitely speaking from a privileged position. We both straight white men. We both don't have disabilities. We both, you know, don't have family members that are dealing with like scrutiny because they're trans or any of that stuff. We're pretty privileged in that respect. But like, I think if I was in a situation where like, if I had to choose between like being able to pay for rent or having a country that confirmed like more of like an emotional identity thing or religion, I'd much more care, first of all, about like the practicality of like, I want to be able to live like comfortably money-wise, and then focus on the other issues. But I feel like nowadays people are so focused on the other issues, they kind of forget about like people are struggling to even get by. They're like, the homelessness is getting worse, drug abuse is getting worse. There are so many cities that are unsafe to even live in the first place now. And obviously you can't, that's the difficult thing with politics, is you kind of can't prioritize because like everything's important to everyone.
Yeah, there's always something that is important to someone. There are a lot of like rights that a lot of people are fighting for that are important. If anything, it's the people fighting against those rights that I disagree with more. Because I tend to agree with people fighting for like trans rights and all that kind of stuff. But also, like, man, a lot of, like you said, a lot of people are struggling to pay rent and get by and just live life.
Yeah.
People want to live life and live life somewhat comfortably, and you're spending all your time fighting against something that doesn't affect you, when instead you could spend time fighting for like government policies that directly help you. Well, that's what I don't understand. It's
you know the Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't aware, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is like a pyramid structure that places human needs and necessities in like a layered system. So the first level, which is the most important, the foundation of what humans need to, be happy, healthy, livable, is breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, which is basically keeping yourself at like a good state.
Stability.
Stability, both in terms of, I'm assuming it means, I think this is more about your health. So like making sure you're healthy.
Yeah.
So like healthcare would be a big thing, and excretion, which is shitting. The next level of that is security of body, employment, resources, morality, family, health, and property. That is all pretty much just like job, home, your family also having those things. And then after that, it's friendship, family, sexual intimacy, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, creativity, problem solving. So like bar being able to breathe, eat, drink, which should be rights for everyone anyways, even though they're not in some places. The next level is like having a roof over your head, having stable employment and income, being able to, have a place to meet with your family and like a safe space. And I think that's the level that gets overlooked more, or like, I think it gets overlooked by the government, not by people in general, because I think people know that housing crisis, homelessness, all that shit sucks. But I think the government overlooks that for like, I know specifically, I see a lot of stuff with America where like Trump's focus a lot of times is on like building up businesses. I'm like, you can't have a business if you can't even fucking afford your house. Like, there's like, there's a layer there.
Well, that's what happens when you have policy that is purely helping the people that have already had all of those like lower tier needs met, rich people. But like, if you're helping people that are already fine, but not helping the people that aren't, I think that's the major issue. Because like you said, he's helping people like build up businesses, but he's not necessarily helping small businesses build. He's helping big businesses build more.
Yeah.
And like, there's something to be said about like, from the American's perspective, wanting to stimulate the American economy. However, I don't know. It just doesn't, from what I have seen, it doesn't necessarily stimulate in a way that I think has been effective. I mean, the economy, or not the economy, the stock market has gone down, which isn't necessarily an indicator of things. And the stock market goes up and down a lot. But I think when you give policy that at help, there's 5 tiers. I think we're looking at the same list here.
Yep.
The top tier is self-actualization. When you're helping that kind of stuff, but you're not getting the bottom tier and the bottom 2, which is like physiological and safety. Obviously, you need to kind of balance and do all of it, because
I mean, it's a pyramid. You're trying to build the foundation of a country. If the bottom is too small, the top's going to tip over and fall on the ground. If you don't have, it's like the whole idea of having like a healthy working class is very important. And this is moving away from government now, but like on social media, there are so many fucking gurus and
oh my god,
hype beasts, like grind mindset people that are like, you need to start your business and become a billionaire. I'm like, not everyone can fucking do that. You need a healthy working class, otherwise the country will fail. It is like critically important.
Everything's built on a working class. Like, it's like, oh my God, I need to start this new business. Okay, you need someone to build that building. Are you going to build that building?
Yeah.
God, no, you're not going to build a fucking building.
And that's been an issue in Australia recently. There aren't enough builders to build the houses to keep up with the demand of people coming in, like in immigration and birth rates. So that's been a big problem here.
I'm not entirely certain how true it is, but I kind of would believe it. I saw something where, like, I guess in Florida they're trying to kick out all these immigrants, and then there was a bunch of hurricanes, and they needed people to help rebuild. And I hate to say it, a lot of like construction workforce, especially in Florida, tends to be immigrants.
Yep. Same in Australia.
That kind of just is how it is. Like, you got rid of all the people that could help you.
Yeah, a lot of builders here will be from like the Pacific Islands, like from Fiji or Samoa or any Polynesia. There's a lot of people there that help with like building or moving. Like whenever I get movers, like they're always from the islands. These fucking big guys who are super strong, super nice, lovely people.
Yeah.
And they help a lot. Like who's going to be the guy that cleans up the sewage waste if everyone is trying to be a business owner? It's not the way to build an economy. It's the way to, when the economy's already built, to accelerate it maybe and to like really make it prosperous. But I think forgetting that lower class, obviously, I don't know fully what I'm talking about. I'm just saying shit that like seems to be right. But like I see a lot of people complain on TikTok and social media, and I have friends that are struggling to get jobs or hold jobs or find housing. It's a common problem in the first world, any way you look, kind of. Some countries are dealing with it better than others. I did see that, I don't know if this is true, but I did see a thing that Trump is trying to get rid of income tax for all people below $200,000 of income.
Okay, I think that's just increasing the limit.
Is it?
Because oh God.
Like, it sounds good in theory, but I don't know how it works in practicality, though.
I believe income tax below a certain rate. Oh, no, never mind. It's under 11,000, it's 10%. So I was wrong. I thought it was 0%. It's just a low percent. I mean, I'd be okay with that. I don't necessarily know if it'll happen or how, I'm not an economist, so I don't necessarily know how that will affect.
Yeah, I feel like that would, you'd either have to increase the taxes massively for people over it or find out some other way to get the income.
And that's what it really comes to. Is like, okay, well, if you do this, you're gonna lose tax money, which like inherently you need tax money in a government. That's how like things work. Where are you going to supplement that? The answer should be rich people. The problem is Trump is a rich person.
And rich people know how to get out of paying taxes. They're experts at it.
Yeah.
So it won't be that. I mean, when I saw that, I think it was a tweet I saw about it, I had the thought, I'm like, I think most Americans would be fine continuing to pay taxes if they actually saw where their tax money was going and it was like useful.
Yeah.
Like if you got healthcare in the same way that like Australia, Canada, the UK got, I think a lot of Americans would be like, yeah, I'm fine paying the amount of tax we do, because you pay way less tax than we do. Like we have like a 45% tax bracket. I think your highest is 37. So like we pay way more. But I think we also get more back from it.
22%. I might even be lower than that. I'm not sure. But then I have to pay out of pocket for so many things.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I've talked to people who are like, yeah, no, I don't want this certain thing. Where I'm like, well, why wouldn't you want universal healthcare? And they go, I like the idea of it. I just don't think it'll work because there's so much distrust in the government, which is fair because it's done a lot of, maybe not bad, but like, well, it's done a lot of bad, but like, it has not sold on promises. But there are countries that show that this is possible.
Very much so.
Like, I like your guys' healthcare. I like how it's set up.
Yeah, or even like with things like the gun laws, that like Australia had similar gun laws to America up until like the 90s when there was a big shooting, and then they were all gone. It is possible to get rid of it. You just have to say to all the people in the, what's the organization that like guns?
NRA.
You have to say, hey, shut the fuck up, we're taking them. You just have to tell them. It's not going to happen. But
like
things are possible to change in the government. They just have to actually do something rather than sitting and saying they're going to do something.
That's true. I like, oh god, it's a Nordic country. I want to say it's Finland or something like that, where like a good like percentage of the population owns guns, but there's like never gun like violence issues because the process that they have is so much better. Now, what I will say, much smaller country. It's a much more spread out country, and and it's a country where like hunting is very widely available. Now, a lot of people need.
Also, I think another aspect that we probably have to mention is there's a lot less race mixing there, and I think a lot of gun crime does come from like people with racist intentions, or like
it can,
like that can definitely,
or hateful intentions
that can spread out easily.
And when there's a lower density of people, there's a lower chance of it happening. But I want to say it's like a year-long vetting process where you have to take classes, you get like a background check, like you do all this work. Where like I think it's pretty easy in the States to get a gun.
That's a big issue with a lot of things in the States, in my opinion. It's too easy to do a lot of stuff. Like the fact you can get, like, how fast did you get your driver's license? It was ridiculous when you told me. It was like 4 weeks.
It's so easy. So when you're like 16, I want to say, or 15, it might depend on the state, you can get a learner's permit, which I want to say you can get a learner's permit at 15. Problem is I was outside the States at this time in my life, so I kind of don't remember. I think it's at 15 you can get a learner's permit, and then at 16 you can get a license. But once you hit 18, it also depends on the state as well. Once you hit 18, you have to get the permit first to be able to drive, but you get the permit by taking a test. The test is not hard. I think you can turn around the next day and like get a license.
Yeah, whereas like in Australia, you have to do 120 hours of driving practice. You need to have a certain amount of, I think you have to have 10 sessions with the driving instructor. You have to do a danger course. You have to do a written exam, well, like a multi-choice, like touchscreen exam. Then you have to do a full driving test. And then at that point, you've finished your learners. Then you're onto your red provisional. You're on your red provisional for 1 year, which is like a certain amount of restrictions you have. Then you're onto your green provisional, which you're on for 3 years. And then you get your full license. I still don't have my full fucking license yet because I was also out of the country until I was 18. But it takes 5 years to get a full license in Australia. Whereas in the US, it's like a week.
If you're over a certain age. Was like, God, I think my test was maybe you go in, they do a quick eyesight test, which is just like, are you blind? And then I did a driver's test, and I don't think I went above 40 miles an hour. Which, I don't know, it's like 60.
Did you have to do like any like maneuvers, parallel parking or anything?
I did do parallel parking. Some states don't do that. I didn't do this in Colorado, but Colorado, you don't have to do it.
Christ.
So what I did was the DMV was off of like kind of a, not like a highway, but like a major road where you go like 40 miles an hour. I had to turn onto there. And then almost immediately I took a right turn onto there, which is easy. And then I took a right turn on into a subdivision, and I drove through a subdivision going 25 miles an hour ish. I had to make a couple stops where I'd like stop on the side of the road, or, you know, I wouldn't even call it the side of the road. I'd just stop next to a house. Weirdly, they would like one of the things that they were like really testing you on was like, okay, when you park, do you turn your wheels the correct way in case your brakes go out? So that instead of going out into the street, you just go into like a lawn.
Oh, interesting.
You're not going to hit anyone. It's a good thing to know. It's a weird thing out of all the things they tested me on. Like that was the thing they were serious about.
Yeah.
The only thing I got docked on is my parallel parking was good, but I was a little too far from the curb.
Right.
But everything else, and it took like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. They're definitely a lot more rigorous with my testing. I failed my first one. I did everything perfect except the very first turn in the whole test. I had to turn right across a two-way intersection, and the light. I can't remember what was weird about like the lighting, but like there was something. I think there wasn't an arrow, but there was just a green light, and like I think it was my first time doing that with a tester, and I got fucking stressed, and I went when I wasn't supposed to. So I failed the test literally like the first minute, and I had to do the whole like rest of the 20 minutes, and everything else was perfect except for that. And then I finished it on my second time. But like in Australia, like you can fail the test if you don't. It's like you're supposed to look at your mirrors, obviously, but like when you're driving, you don't really move your head when you look at your mirrors because you don't need to.
No, you just.
But like the driving instructor needs to know you're looking. So like you're supposed to go like fully like 90-degree neck turn, and if you don't do that, like if you miss like 5 of those, you fail the driving test, which is just insane.
They kind of do that in the States, but I also think like my test, and again, every state is different, but my test was like 100 points. You start with 100 and then, you start.
Yeah. Okay. That's similar to here as well.
I think you could get like a 70 and pass.
I think you have to get over 90 in mine. I think it was also from like 100.
Yeah.
And I got like a 90. I got like a 97 or something.
It threw me off a little bit when you started telling me about this test, because you're like, I took a right turn across 2 lanes, and I was like, why the fuck would you go across 2 lanes? You guys are on the left side of the road.
Yes.
I forget about that sometimes.
Yeah. But like that does make me wonder what other like positions they let people in way too easy. Like I've heard horror stories about like the US police, like the training is like not very long at all, and they let in a bunch of like loose cannon like idiots into the cop force.
I was telling a story at work one day where I was at a Target and I was watching this cop chase this guy.
Just casually.
It was really fun. It was kind of funny, honestly, because this guy's running and he's calling his buddy. He didn't seem dangerous. Like, he didn't have a gun. I was fine. Or in hindsight, I was fine. But the guy was like running. I wasn't that close to him. And I just hear him go, "Hey man, I'm running across Target. I need you to pick me up now." But he's getting chased by this cop. That cop wasn't catching up. That dude was like, he had some pounds on him.
He was a big boy.
And I was telling this story at work. I was like, yeah, that cop was not catching up to him. I don't know if they caught him. Whatever. My guess is he shoplifted.
Yeah.
I don't know though. And I'm telling the story, and one of my coworkers was like, yeah, I actually used to work at like a precinct doing like administrative stuff. So like they weren't a cop. Cops take a physical training or like PT test when they join the force.
Yep.
They do not do it anytime else. So you just have to be fit when you're like in your 20s and you join the police force. You never have to be fit after again.
That's insane.
Apparently it was a union thing. But like, that's crazy to me that a job that like is physically demanding doesn't make you continue to be physical. Now look, if you're in your 40s and you're doing mostly office work, I'm not expecting you to be fucking ripped and like run a 6-minute mile. But like, if you're going to be out on the street, you should be able to chase a guy.
Yeah, you should at least have a BMI under the obesity level, ideally.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that can be pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I'm sure like teachers as well, probably due to the demand, because there's not many teachers. I'm sure like you can probably become a teacher pretty easily.
I want to say in the state of Missouri, when I lived there, if you wanted to be a substitute teacher, you did not need a teaching license.
Yeah, it's crazy. But does not shock me at all.
No, it's and again, a lot of this stuff I've mentioned is all state level stuff.
Yeah, and like it is different in different places. Like I'm sure in Australia as well, like if you're in a rural town somewhere, you can pretty much do any job at any age. Like McDonald's hires like 14 here. There's a very famous like interview clip of Margot Robbie working at a bar when she was 12. Like if you're in like a small town, there's a lot of very lax things. It's just when you get to like, bigger cities and this stuff still happens. Like I think the police one is one of the most concerning ones. The fact that you don't have a physically fit cop or like a consistent at least like a psychological evaluation every like 5 years or something would be great to have, but they don't do that.
That's a serious job.
I actually have a hypothetical for you that I saw on a video similar to what we're talking about. And it had, again, very polarizing views. So, do you think that parents should be required to take some form of test before they have a child?
I have actually thought about this.
Because I've heard both sides of the argument, and I agree with both. But in my opinion, I'm going to say yes. And I'll explain why when you give your answer.
I've even thought about the idea of I guess taking a test and like having a license to do it. Mainly like if you compare the importance of like raising a child, arguably you could raise terrible human being and they could do something terrible.
Yep.
Could be comparable to like being able to drive a car. Because like realistically, if you're driving a car every day, you're not getting in accidents, you're not killing anyone. Great. But if you're a bad driver, it's not difficult to kill someone. If you move if you just go through a red light and you T-bone someone, that could be someone dead. And that's like anyone can do that. If like it's terrible. If you wanted to just kill someone while driving, you could, and it would not be hard.
And dude, the intrusive thoughts while driving, I could kill this guy right now. Just what?
Yeah. And 99.9% of people don't do that, and that's great. And that that's how it should be, and that's what most people. But it's like you could also make that difference where like parenting is fucking hard.
Yep.
It is like incredibly difficult. There's so much you need to know. Like the amount you learn from being a parent, both on how to raise a child, all the specific things you need to do in raising a child, the emotional stuff, like all this stuff is like, it's so involved and so intense. And it's like, if you had that level of, if you required that level of training and knowledge in a job, they wouldn't just be, I wouldn't hire someone entry level to be a parent.
No.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, I'd want someone with like experience.
Yeah. So we're both leaning on yes for this answer, I think.
Do I think it should be required? No, but I almost really like the idea of it.
Yeah. I don't think you could enforce it because there's obviously freak pregnancies that happen all the time. And like, what? Do you just, when this woman's in the process of giving birth, you have to take a test? Like, it's not really feasible in that respect.
Right.
You maybe could do something along the lines of like, you could give them like benefits. Like if you pass this test and / audit of like things, you get like financial benefits to help you raise your child. Maybe like that could be a way of doing it. But like, yeah, the amount of like, even something like a quick psychological evaluation of both you and your partner and a quick financial audit to see like if do you think you can feasibly raise this child at a even like lower class level, I think would be like very helpful for a lot of people. Because like the amount of I obviously see clips on TikTok or like YouTube shows, or like you see things about like parents getting divorced or like people leaving marriages very quickly with all this like debt, or like people lying about like, you know, I bought this house but I actually have it all on debt and now we get divorced, now you have all this debt, and all these different random scenarios. And it'd be so much easier if people just had like an outside third person to be like, okay, this is what you're doing wrong. You need to do this before you move on to this point of your life. Otherwise, you're going to fuck things up for all of you.
Yeah. Because, like, if I'm in a relationship, but, you know, if I'm in a relationship and I fuck up someone else's life, they're an adult and they could feasibly do something about it. Obviously, they can't do everything about it if I do something, you know, if I did something terrible. But if I was, like, more on the end of, like, if I was going into debt and I was starting to ruin my life, they could leave. If I have a child and I'm ruining my life, which affects them, they can't leave because they're a child. Obviously, there's like CPS and all that stuff. Yeah, but that they don't
like. Yeah, Child Protective Services usually only comes in when it's too late, or
it's
not at
like
all.
A very extreme circumstance. But there's a lot of gray areas where, like, I mean, I'm gonna throw a random statistic out there. I don't know, like 89% of people that are fucked up. Probably because of their childhood. I mean, your childhood affects you so much.
Yeah.
It's when you learn everything, and it makes sense.
I'm sure you've met people, I've definitely met people that, like, they have kind of a twisted worldview compared to, like, maybe average people because of the way their parents raised them. Like, I know people that, like, captivity is a bit extreme, but, like, I know people that, like, they weren't allowed to go out with their friends after school. They had their first sleepover at, like, 18. They were never allowed to go out. Their parents kept them inside the whole time. And they have like crazy anxiety from it, and they can't really, you know, socialize in the world very well due to those situations. And like, if the parents were told how to like raise a kid a little bit better, maybe they would have a better idea. Maybe they would have a better life now. Obviously, this is a sort of idealism. It would never really work in the real world because I don't know how. Like the amount of kids there are, and the amount of families, like there'd be almost no way to do it.
I mean, the problem is you'd have to start policing like sex.
Yeah,
and then when you get to there, it's like, well, I'm not for that at all.
Yeah,
but like,
or you get to a point where abortion is like a government decided thing. If you don't pass the test, the baby's gone, which I don't think would ever pass.
I don't think it would ever pass because I mean, fuck, they're trying to get rid of abortion, let alone, help make it standardized. Also, abortion isn't necessarily good physically on a person.
No, of course not.
Sometimes.
All these thoughts, a lot of my thoughts I do have about politics in the world are very idealistic. I do end up being realistic in the moment, but like I do have a lot of ideals that would be great to see. It's just that it's like my ideals when it comes to like wars. Like I kind of don't like anyone that goes to war. Like in an ideal world, I think both of like Israel and Palestine should both just stop their fucking killing, whether who's right or who's wrong.
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But like at the end of the day, with these things like innocents are suffering, in most scenarios, whether it's war, whether it's governments doing shit, whether it's the economy being fucked up from billions, it's the innocent people that are suffering, not the ones who are actually causing the issues. And that pisses me off the most. Like, I'm reading a book right now that like is a fantasy world, but like very similar scenarios. There's like a giant endless war going on, and it's all the innocents that are dying, not the kings and the queens that are fucking causing this shit. It's the random people in the village, the farmers, that are suffering and being killed for it. And that gets me a bit annoyed.
Yeah. It truly is a shame. No, it's never the people that start things that actually are that affected. It's always the pawns.
I mean, how long after Hitler started his plan did he meet his demise? He was in there for like 10 years or so, just chilling.
And he had the easy way out. He killed himself.
Yeah.
Not to say that's the easy way out, but like in his scenario.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, I think we need to end on something light.
Yeah, I'll stop the preachiness for a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what that light thing is.
Well, I mentioned this to you before, but I mentioned on the podcast because it was quite sick. At the concert I was at, there was two girls in front of me. One of them was reading a book at the concert, which I was like judging her heavily for it because like, why are you bringing your book to a concert? What the fuck's going on? I like couldn't believe my eyes. I was like so like, I was almost like, you are a vile abomination of a creature, woman. Leave my sight. I'm joking. It wasn't that extreme. But then like half an hour later, between sets, she pulled out fucking Pokemon cards and just started doing an opening. I'm like, this chick's cool as fuck. She's sick.
Hell yeah.
I love this. I couldn't see the cards well enough, but like I was still like, fuck yeah.
That's pretty sweet. You say like, oh, she's weird. She brought a book. Or you were sitting on your phone the whole time, weren't you though?
No, the connection wasn't working in there.
So you just stood there?
Yeah.
Like just stationary.
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of people watching you can do.
Yeah, no, people watching like, oh, I don't know, dude. There was something fucking off about this concert. I have never seen so many fucking crowd surfers in my life. And this was like only like a 2,000 to 5,000 venue. I don't know how big it was. It was very small.
That's punk rock,
but
baby.
Like, there was probably about 30 people that got crowd surfed to the front and had to get taken out by security. They just kept going, man. And I'm like, you're impressive. Like, you're ruining this for yourself. Like, there's a guy that crowd surfed at the opening band. I'm like, you've just missed everything. What are you doing? I don't understand. Because I don't know if they got let back in or not. I think it depends on the venue or security team. Sometimes they'll let them back in at the back. Sometimes they'll kick them out completely. But if they did kick them out, I'm like, you've just missed the whole fucking concert because you wanted to surf in a crowd, you idiot. What are you doing? What?
Yeah.
And like,
your capacity was about 5.4 thousand people.
Did you search up my concert?
Don't worry about it.
That's creepy. I guess 5,000 when I was in there. Yeah, it was a pretty...
30 crowd surfers is crazy, though.
No, it was... They just kept fucking going, dude. It was insane.
The problem is once, like, 2 or 3 people do it, then everyone's like, well, I want to do it now.
Yeah, and, like, you could tell they were getting sick of it, because, like, the first, like, 5 or so, the main, like, artist was, like, giving them a fist bump or whatever when they got close. Yeah. And then towards the end, he just, like, couldn't... He wasn't even looking at them anymore. He's like, this is too much. Because I think...
You can...
I think him like dapping them up or giving them a handshake was like encouraging more people to do it. And then he was like, fuck, I need to stop doing this.
You can only do something so many times at a concert. I think I've told this on the pod, but recently I went to a concert and after every single song, they would just go, play another banger. And it was so fucking obnoxious. It was maybe funny, or it was like, play a banger, like as if, it was like, shut up. After the first time, we're like, oh, that's funny. Like, oh, yeah, play a good song. And it would happen every single time. I think I didn't tell them to shush, but I think in the middle of a song they were talking, and I just looked, because they were right behind me. I just looked behind me and I just kept looking at them until I made eye contact with the one guy that wasn't talking. And I was kind of like, I gave him the look of like, hey, can you get him to shut up? And he was like, yeah, I got you. That was what I got out of the eye contact. And I think he looked at them and was like, hey, can you guys shut the fuck up? And they did for the rest of the concert.
Lovely.
For the most part. At least
good when that happens.
Don't talk during a song. In between songs is fine. If you do it all the time, it's kind of annoying because it's like they do stuff in between songs.
Yeah.
But shut up, man. I'm here to listen to the music. And you should be too. You pay. But anyway, that's cool. I like the Pokemon card on.
It was
sweet.
It was so good, man. Like, just incredible vibes.
Love that. I had a coworker unpack a god pack. Do you know what that is?
Like a Pokemon god pack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got Bulbasaur Venusaur or Bulbasaur Ivysaur Venusaur.
Yep.
I think that's that's pretty sweet.
Lovely.
He came in and two of the guys at work like buy a lot of Pokemon cards. He was like, it's like, fuck you, man. That's so cool.
I really want to buy them, but I just know that like it's gonna become.
Once you start, you never stop.
Yeah, it's gonna become a bad hobby because then I have to get into it and like understand which cards are expensive, and then we're gonna want to keep pulling.
I'm getting really close to that with comics.
Really?
Yeah. The good news is I can keep borrowing comics from like the library, so
big ups.
Both digitally and in person. So that's keeping me alive. And I have a buddy that owns a bunch of comics, and he's like, "Here, just keep reading these." I'm like, "Okay."
Very nice.
Sure.
Well, that was a bit of a lighter note to end on, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end. I'm glad we found something.
Yeah.
I was gonna throw a question to the comments.
Go for it.
I don't have anything.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Just comment something. Say hi. Tell us about your day. Ask us questions if you want or don't.
You're being really non-committal right now.
Look, this is this whole episode is non-committal.
Real, honestly, yeah. Do you think if there was
every once in a while we have a rambly episode? And that's fine.
No, I was gonna say, do you think 100 of you could beat a gorilla? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, I think 100 of me could beat a gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
Think 100 of you could beat a gorilla, Dan?
If my hamstring doesn't get pulled instantly, probably.
Oh, fuck, you're right. See, that's the problem is, like, you're a tall guy, but you're so fucking, like, injury prone.
Brittle,
because
baby.
Because you're a tall guy.
Hell yeah.
You're brittle, baby.
I got flat feet. I got bunions because of the flat feet. It's great. I love it in here.
Yeah, you do. Pulling your back, pulling your nose.
Yeah. You got shoulder issues, pulling my nose. Yeah, fuck it, why not?
You're not even that old.
No.
Fuck.
Yeah. Wish for my long survival. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Objectively Bad Podcast. Bye.